It was such a shock. I was in pieces when Liam died. Tearful Simon Cowell opens out on 1D Star's death, his kooky marriage, and exposes the truth about his plastic surgery. We've never seen Simon Cowell like this before. Head in hands, trouble with self-doubt, falling out with his partner, weeping for the death of a friend. I wanted it to be like that, says the founder of the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, the man behind the success of famous performers like One Direction and Leona Lewis. He is notorious for keeping tight control over his image and that of his artists, yet the Netflix documentary series Simon Cowell. The next act feels different. I'm definitely more proud of this than anything else, just because we kept going and we were okay with presenting everything. That means we see Simon seeking to recruit members of a new boy band to rival his past success, but also when he runs into difficulty. He wants 1,000 young men to audition, but only 93 register at first. Talking to Weekend in the spotless white and cream room of his house on the edge of Wimbledon Common, he's very clear about what's at stake, saying on the show, "I put my head on the block. If it doesn't work, it would seem like the end of my career." His crew comes to the rescue, stating his billboards and radio appearances aren't going to make it with young people anymore and that they'd be better off on TikTok. Soon crowds are building outside the auditions in Liverpool, Dublin, London, and Simon manages to select 16 applicants. We also get a glimpse into his personal life with fiancée Lauren, who signs legal documents to change her name from Silverman to Cowell as Simon turns 65, stating, "I should put this in a box, wrap it, and put a bow on it. That's part of your birthday gift, me assuming your name." Lauren, 48, is clearly not afraid to boss his famous employer about, demanding him at one point, "Smile with your mouth open. You paid a lot for those teeth." He laughs now, remembering the moment. That was a good line. Lauren and Simon got together in 2013 after first meeting in 2004 at the Sandy Lane Resort in Barbados. They bicker on video, notably about whether he will attend his stepson's high school graduation in America. But he maintains now there are no regrets. "I suppose when we argue it was humorous, it made me laugh, because it was like staring in a mirror. We are a bit wacky. That's why we get on. I wind her up. She gets agitated. We argue for a second, and it's gone. She just makes me chuckle. Sometimes she doesn't even know why I'm laughing so much." Simon seated on the edge of a deep beige sofa, wearing polished leather slippers, pressed stonewashed trousers, and a dark T-shirt. His beard is silvered, as you would expect from a man of 66, and his face seems transformed in a way that is hard to identify. But there's something else, too, behind those tinted glasses. Does this mogul, with a reputation for being an authority, like his partner standing up to him? Big time. Oh, right. When we argue, it's like a small explosion. Then generally, 99% of the time, we just burst out laughing afterwards. I don't enjoy relationships where you can't speak your opinion. You gotta argue, which suggests you get on well. That icy civility I've had with friends. Well, they're not really friends if that's what it is. Their son was born on Valentine's Day in 2014. "We are mostly here," explained Simon. "There was a time when I was going backwards and forwards to America virtually regularly. I wouldn't advocate that to anyone. It was horrible. Now, every time we travel, I tell to Eric it's an adventure. He also has residences in the Cotswolds, Barbados, and Malibu. Probably too much. There's a lot of places." The show exposes his idiosyncrasies, such as fixation with crystals. This is absolutely who I am. It's not a caricature. The most emotional moment in the next act is when his ambitions are unexpectedly brought to a crashing halt by the murder of One Direction vocalist Liam Payne in Argentina. Simon is shown attempt to come to terms with his thoughts on camera, breaking down in tears, and his eyes moisten again as he remembers the day he found out what had happened. "I was in Blackpool filming Britain's Got Talent. Somebody who works with me walked into my room," Simon says now, discussing publicly about this era for the first time. "As soon as I saw her face, I could sense she was distraught. Nothing has hit me like that since I lost my parents and dad. I recall how that felt, and this was not far off. The emotions resurface, and so do the tears. He wipes them away, but they keep coming back. You get the idea he has sobbed many times over this in the year since it happened. I couldn't believe it. All I remember was saying, I've got to speak to his parents. I managed to speak to them. Thank God. Immediately. How was that? Just terrible. I put myself in their position. They were in pieces. I was in bits. I just said, look, we've just got to be there for each other. He found comfort with Lauren and Eric, but then made a startling decision. I've got to just go away somewhere on my own for a few days. Where did he go? A secluded space, like a hideaway, where I was able to switch off. I just sort of meditated and thought about stuff. Since I was so upset, then you have to come back to your life again. What was going on in his thoughts and heart? Everything. I was so close to him. Obviously, you move away over the years. But it's true. You don't know how you feel about someone until you lose them. People pass away. But when they're so gifted and young, it's hard. Liam was 14 when he competed on the X Factor in 2008 and was told to come back in a couple years. I remember him when he first auditioned, like it was yesterday, recalls Simon, who put him together with Harry Styles and 3 others to form One Direction in 2010. I would consider him a friend. We sat on this sofa a year before Dad departed. We talked for 3 or 4 hours. He played me some songs. Add Simon. He called me out of the blue. We just missed each other. That was the last time I saw him. Simon's voice cracks. The irony was, he looked amazing. He'd been working out. I thought we had a really wonderful talk. What did they talk about? There's more to life than simply music, and sometimes it's about timing. He was talking about polo, I guess. Horses. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to phone his parents. I'm terribly worried. I just thought, okay, here's somebody I work with who's done really well in his life. Got a son. Looks fantastic. Probably just wanted some guidance as a friend. There was nothing that made me think, S***T, there's a problem. I didn't get that. That's why his death was such a shock to me. Liam died on October 16th, 2024, after falling from a balcony in Buenos Aires. A member of hotel staff had phoned the police, afraid that their guest was overwhelmed by drugs and alcohol. The inquest was initiated in this country, but adjourned until May. I haven't read a single word about any of it, because I can't. It wounded me so much. You lose a friend. You just don't want to. I can't read about anything like that. Does he ever wish Liam had phoned him? If he was in trouble? 1,000,000%. There's always the what if, having picked Liam for a life that appeared too much for him in the end. Was there any part of Simon that felt guilty? He gets the question. Not guilty. When I eventually met with his parents a few months thereafter,